This week on the Game Marks podcast, we are playing Tag Team Wrestling for the NES, Arcade, Commodore 64, and much, much more. We'll cover all there is to know, plus our weekly tournament, Clash at the Feast. Plug in, put on those nostalgia goggles, because this week's Game Marks podcast starts now.
And now, the Game Marks!
Welcome to the Game Marks podcast. My name is Johnny Clash.
And I am George Feast, and this week we are playing Tag Team Wrestling.
And as always, we love to hear from you guys, so please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and make sure to subscribe and rate this podcast wherever you choose to listen, and join the conversation on social media at Game Marks Pod. Hello, Georgie.
Hello, Johnny. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm still reeling from not WrestleMania, Game Marks Mania.
Oh yeah, what an awesome 2 days that was. Able to raise a little bit of extra money for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. Got to interact with some of our listeners. Made some new fans on Twitch. It was a good time all around.
So let's just rewind a little bit back to, I would say, January. Yeah, January. When Gameboree ended, we had $733 donated to St. Jude, and we just tacked on another $154. So thank you, everyone.
Unbelievable. But I don't know about you, John, but I had a pretty good time being live on Twitch, hanging out, interacting with some of our listeners, making some new friends over in the Twitch world. And I don't know, I think that's going to be something that we do more. There was definitely an ask of a couple of the people who came and hung out with us for us to do that more. And I think we're going to come up with some kind of monthly schedule and then just sporadic streams here on out, but at least one major big stream a month.
I like it. Let's do it.
I'm in.
So let's go back to last week. First of all, did you enjoy WrestleMania for what it was?
It was very interesting, and for those who came and hung out with us for Game Marks Mania live on Twitch, we talked about it, and that was pretty much the thing I kept repeating every time someone asked about what you were expecting for Mania. I was like, just kind of thought it was going to be something that was interesting. Obviously, you're not going to get all the pomp and circumstance that you get.
No pyro.
around, I mean, yeah, you're not going to have all the crowds, and you're not going to have all these crazy moments, but I think for what it was, a 2-day event, 2 pre-tape matches. I mean, the whole thing was pre-tape, but 2 on location, super cinematic matches.
Beautiful.
I thought it was really good. I thought it was a really solid episode of SmackDown or Raw.
Okay, yeah, good point. I think the cinematic matches that we saw, they should do all the time. Come on,
absolutely.
We know The Undertaker can't wrestle it like he used to. But who's saying we can't get a cinematic match between him and Sting, The dream match everyone always wanted.
Or, I mean, even just to say, to do matches like that, but with even more legends. You bring back Hogan, you do something with the NWO, you do something with, maybe people who, can still go, but they're not going to be able to go for, 40 minutes at Mania, but, do a cinematic match like that, you can easily get way more time out of them than you would if it was a real live event, because you can stop, you can pause, you can, and then you just cut everything together as you go along.
Yep, and all the people saying, "Oh, Matt Hardy did it first." Guys, this has been there's been many of these for a while, okay?
Yeah, but Bunkhouse Stampede.
Think about Piper and Goldust.
Yeah.
But anyway, speaking of WrestleMania, last week we played WWF WrestleMania for the DOS with Nick Stapp. He is not with us this week, but he will be back for some stuff very, very shortly. How do you feel about last week's game?
I maintain what I said and how I feel. It looked pretty, but no.
Just no, yeah.
Just no. Just pile drivers.
A lot of pile drivers.
A lot of pile drivers.
Anyway, if you want to get in on the action, we have a contest going on right now where all you have to do is leave a review on our Apple Podcast page, send a screenshot of the review to us at GameMarksPod on any form of social media, and you will be entered to win a Cody Rhodes autograph. Now, I want to read just a few of our recent submissions here. See what you're up against.
The voice of the listener.
Funny, informative, entertaining. This is the podcast I never knew I needed. As a guy who was proud of owning every single wrestling game released for PlayStation, minus Backstage Assault because that's not a wrestling game since it doesn't have a ring, this is the show for me. Clash and Feast and Sometimes Friends are on a king's quest to play every wrestling game ever, and I'm here for it.
It's great. Can't ask for anything better than that.
And
that's like a gold star seal of approval.
5 of them. And another one. Finally, a podcast about wrestling games. Thank you for doing what I didn't have the time to do myself, a show about a different wrestling game every episode. I am all about it, even if one of yours doesn't like Fire Pro. What? And even if the other one of you still thinks WWF Attitude is a good game. LOL. Keep it going.
I wonder who that could be. You know what? I will say this. Doing this podcast has given me an entirely new appreciation for wrestling video games. It has shown me that every little game has something to offer. Some have more to offer, but every game has something that's like a little charming and fun about it. So at the very least, that's what I'm getting out of this podcast.
So head on over to Apple Podcasts, get creative, write some funny stuff, make us pop, and one of you will win a Cody Rhodes autograph. I mean, who's hotter than Cody Rhodes right now?
I mean, they're putting on better empty house shows than anybody else in the business right now.
But up next, gaming news.
Are you looking to get a better grip on life? How about your video games? Well, VGF Gamers are the largest silicone gaming brand in the USA. They have a variety of different and unique skins for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One controllers and consoles. Check out their products at VGFgamers.com and use code GameMarks to receive 15% off your order at checkout. That's GAMEMARKS at checkout. VGF Gamers. Better grip, better style.
All right, Georgie. So for gaming news this week, I wanted to pivot in a different direction. I wanted to have a little bit of a discussion here because one of our good friends, Justin Leeper, posted on Saturday afternoon a video saying that sources close to him are telling him there will be no WWE 2K21 this year. Usually now is the time to release the trailer, release some info about it. It's WrestleMania time. Maybe it's because of this pandemic going on, but we have no word on 2K21, and it looks like, just like the XFL, it's not coming back for 2021.
I mean, I'm heartbroken. I mean, how can you expect to go on without the XFL, man? Like, I just don't know.
I was ready to buy a Guardians jersey.
Okay, so here's my caveat to that. One, I totally understand if they didn't make a 21 because 20 was an absolute abomination. It's been on sale multiple times, and I have very seriously toyed with the idea of buying all the extra DLC, and I just can't. I just can't bring myself to do it. The deluxe edition's been on sale. If you already own the game, it takes a little off the top. And being that it's already on sale, I just can't bring myself to pull the trigger to get it just because it's such a monumental letdown.
It's already off my hard drive.
I'll be honest with you. If this is how the state of the wrestling game industry is going to be now, I'm kind of bummed and I'm kind of upset.
Okay, but
at the same time, very excited because now there's this massive gap for someone else to step into.
Yes, but
and take the reins.
But Georgie, at the end, towards like the middle of Justin's video, he says WWE is still putting out a game this year. He didn't want to disclose what. It's probably not going to be 2K, I would assume, but it's going to be a little bit of a different direction for them. So I want to hear your opinion on what you think it could be. Could it be arcade style? Could it be like a new All-Stars type game? Could it be
GM Simulator?
God, it's possible. It's honestly possible. Could it be that?
It's GM Simulator.
Could it be a
all it is.
Fire Pro style game? God help us. I don't know. What is it? Another mobile game?
What if they did something? Because there is a mobile game like this. I think it's not Superstars. Mayhem is the one that plays like Mortal Kombat.
I think so. Yeah.
I would take that game.
Yeah.
I would take a full release of that game, like a console release of that game. Like I would 100% do that.
I played the one that was kind of like Candy Crush.
That's just Superstars.
I think maybe. I played that for a little bit, but then once you get into like the pretty much where you have to buy things to succeed, I was like, yeah, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
But
it's very interesting.
But that leaves a door open for a new style game while they perfect 2K22, possibly. So maybe we could see like a WrestleMania Arcade re-release with an updated roster.
I was just gonna say this could be a throwback to one of the very first couple of questions that we asked on the podcast, which was if you could combine any two style of games and one of them being wrestling, what would you do? Maybe we'll get like Crush Hour 2.
I would love to see a WrestleMania Arcade game with Finn Balor just summoning demons on people. That could be a cool game. Like you said, this also leaves a void to be filled. Maybe AEW steps in with their game. I mean, I would hope they put more time into it when that happens, so maybe it won't be this year also, but they could put out a game.
Okay. I just had a very random idea pop into my head, and I'm probably going to be the minority who would want something like this. But with this whole quarantine pandemic thing going on in the world right now, my friends and I have been utilizing the Jackbox series to play games and keep ourselves entertained. What if there was like a interactive, like you could host, argument's sake, you log into Twitch, you run this game, and it's like an interactive game show that you can have on Twitch that we could per se have with our listeners. It's like a wrestling trivia game, but it's like online and interactive, where like you and I could go on and be the host, or an individual could host a streaming party privately on like Zoom or something. And like it's just like a wrestling trivia game, but online.
I think I've seen that before, but if
I've only seen board game versions of it from like when I was a kid.
True. Not a bad idea. It's something.
Yeah.
Anyway, as far as gaming news, honestly, it's just updates and patches at this point. Nothing's really going on, but there's something that's been absolutely bothering me lately.
All right, let's go.
This is a huge gripe.
Sit down in my chair and let's listen to your issues.
I have a huge gripe right now with EA. Every night, me and my wife sit on the couch, sit in bed. This is like 10 times a day. We are playing Tetris on our phones against each other.
Okay.
We log in the other day, and a message pops up on both of our screens. Hello, fans. We have had an amazing journey with you so far, but sadly, it is time to say goodbye. As of April 21st, 2020, EA's Tetris app will be retired and will no longer be available to play. Kindly note that you will still be able to enjoy the game and use existing in-game items until April 21st, 2020. We hope you have gotten many hours of enjoyment out of this game and appreciate your ongoing support. Thank you.
Is this, we put a little clip of Queen's Another One Bites the Dust, like right here?
But
is that...
How do you kill Tetris? Like one of the most popular games ever.
The license may have run out, and they're choosing not to renew it.
That's absurd. It's Tetris, damn it.
I'll say, let me quick Google this. Who owns Tetris? The Tetris Company is based in Hawaii and is owned by Hank Rogers and Alexei Patjanov and Blue Planet Software. So it sounds like it's probably EA pays for the license for the brand. and they're probably just not renewing the license.
Well, we need it back as soon as possible, because this has been our entertainment during the quarantine.
Well, if you had a Switch, you could play Tetris Party or Tetris Blast, whatever it is.
Yeah, I'm not about that. Anyway, what do you say we throw to our favorite segment, the question of the week?
Hey, George. Are you ready? I said, are you ready for our Pro Wrestling Tees store? Brace yourself, because the Game Marks podcast is now on ProWrestlingTees.com, featuring multiple designs designed by us. Head on over to ProWrestlingTees.com/GameMarksPod today to either play it forever or future endeavor.
So, question of the week is a weekly segment that we do here where John and I ask each other's questions, and then we like to present the question to you guys and get everyone's answers. Last week, a little follow-up. Last week, the question was, if WWE put out an Originals Volume 2, who would you want to hear? And boy, did we get some insane responses from that. So please head over to our Twitter account, @GameMarksPod, to see some amazing and creative answers. There were definitely some ones that made me chuckle. John, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, just the thought of anyone, maybe like Braun Strowman singing his own version of his song would be hilarious.
But this week it is my turn to ask the question, and oddly enough, similar to the Tetris conversation that we were just having, my question this week was going to be, aside from actual console video games, what have you been doing to entertain yourself in this quarantine?
You really want me to publicly answer that? No. A lot of cards.
Keep it PG, John.
A lot of card games, Scrabble, board games. Binged Ozark. We're almost done with the final season in less than a week.
Okay.
From the beginning, that is. Just nothing. Literally nothing. Just sitting here eating. There's only so many workouts you could do with resistance bands and one set of dumbbells, in the process of making a bigger space to do more for that. I don't know. I am still working technically during the day, so when stuff comes in, I do have to do it. A lot of Warzone, a lot of NHL. What about you?
It's not necessarily video games, but I've been working on setting up our Twitch channel to be more, accessible and friendly and welcoming. When we start doing that more, there'll probably be more of that, maybe not even video game related, coming up in the future, or we may just hang out and sit and talk with everybody and just see what's going on in everyone's life, just talk about wrestling for a little bit. Been watching a lot of Scrubs, going through that show.
Takes one to know one. Waka waka.
Wow. Put a laugh track behind that. Watching all the Scrubs for the 100th time. Been going on a lot more bike rides and walks than I usually would.
Hardcore biking.
Really just trying to maintain some sense of normalcy.
Eating a lot.
Eating. Yeah. Went to Taco Bell yesterday.
Ooh, we did Burger King.
Yeah. I went to Taco Bell yesterday. And then, okay, here's an off-topic question about fast food. I want to see if I'm the only one. Do you have a go-to order when you go to Taco Bell or Burger King?
Absolutely. Not so much like Burger King and Lowe's, because I don't eat that stuff very often, but Taco Bell, 100%. I already know what I'm getting.
What's your go-to at Taco Bell?
Cheesy Gordita Crunch with a Crunch Wrap meal with a hard taco. And then occasionally I'll get cinnamon twist, or I don't remember what it's called.
Cheesy Fiesta potatoes.
I'm not that big on those, but the burrito with the Fritos in it. Oh, crack.
Oh, okay.
Crack. Super Crunch burrito. I think that's what it's called.
I'm one of those people that I will just look and be like, oh, that sounds good. I get that. That sounds good. I get that. That sounds good. I get that.
The nacho
and before
fries.
you know it, I've gotten like 6 items. I'm like, oh, I guess I'm not going to eat this all in one sitting because I'll hate myself.
There's two levels of Taco Bell. Not enough or too much. That's it. There's no satisfying.
I've never had not enough.
I've had that. you get like the one crunch wrap and like a taco, and you're like, nope, I need more.
Could have done more.
Yeah.
All right. Enough about fast food. The question of the week was, what are you doing besides video games to keep yourself occupied during this quarantine?
Keep it PG, kids, damn it.
And as always, we'd like to present that question to you as well. Let us know on any form of social media at GameMarksPod. And John, I think it is time for us to go off the diving board into our hashtag deep dive of tag team wrestling. What do you say?
Let's go. Hey guys, Johnny here. While we love talking about video games and wrestling here on the podcast, we wanted to share with you a new offer from our friends at Stitcher. An enormous amount of shows and bonus episodes are available on Stitcher Premium, such as Office Ladies, Comedy Bang Bang, WTF with Mark Aaron, How Did This Get Made, Bitch Sesh, True Crime Garage, Marvel's Wolverine, and plenty more. Right now you could sign up for Stitcher Premium for only $4.99 a month or $34.99 a year using our code GameMarksPodcast. That's all one word. Head on over to Stitcher.com/premium for this amazing deal and a free month. That's Stitcher.com/premium and use code GameMarksPodcast. That's all one word. Game on, Marks.
All right, so Tag Team Wrestling released in 1983 in Japan and 1984 in North America. It was released for the Apple II, the Commodore 64, the IBM PC, the NES, and in arcade cabinets. It's developed by Technos Japan and published by Data East. Now, this game features Strong Bad versus the Ricky Fighters,
AKA Sonny and Terry, Jocko and Spike, or the heel team in masks, the Mad Maulers. Depends which version you have.
Guess what, guys? That's the whole roster of the game. There's no roster section this week. That's it. This may be one of the simplest wrestling games we've ever played, and we've played some basic games before, but this takes the title. Pretty much all you do is move around, and there's a action button and an alternative button, and the action button is your punch, and the alternative button is what you hit to tag or to pin.
Yeah, there's not much going on here.
I was just going to say, anything else that you would care to add on in terms of the
punch
controls?
button,
I feel like
the punch button is basically the grapple button, and your move comes up on the screen. You have a timer, where you have to pull the move off. It's usually one stupid move, and honestly, I think there was more that we just didn't know how to do.
I mean, I think just being how old this game is, I don't think there's a ton to it. I mean, that's pretty much what the standard was for most games from this era. It's
Well, there is a move list, and we only saw like 2 or 3 of these, so that makes me think maybe it was just the version we played, because there's actually a point system. So for the arcade, say a headlock, which is called the Nutter, is worth 200 to 300 points. Okay. So there's a point system.
So yeah, maybe there's different features based on what platform you're playing on, because I would imagine that an arcade cabinet probably has different limitations than say like a home console does.
Right, so we played the NES version.
Yes.
So we didn't have... So let me run off the move list quick.
Okay.
We have the Nutter, which is a headlock, the straight jab and the karate chop, the kick, wow, innovative, the rabbit killer, which is done by trapping the opponent's head between the wrestler's legs. I assume that's just like a head scissor. A body slam, which looked more like a gorilla press.
Yes.
A drop kick, which is actually a little motion scene where you whip the guy into the ropes and then hit them with the drop kick on the return. See, this is where AJ Styles got his moveset. Then there's the pile driver, the brainbuster, the lariat, the rear drop, which is, if executed when the opponent, the skinny heel team wrestler, is considerably weakened, it counts as a pin.
Oh.
Sure. I assume that's just an atomic drop. Okay, then there's the Cobra Twist, also known as the abdominal stretch. And if your wrestler is about to give up appears on the screen. Go figure.
Oh. Who knew?
Yeah. Now there's moves that, we'll get into the characters in a little bit, but there's moves that can't be executed on certain wrestlers because there is actual weight detection here. There is a bigger wrestler on the heel team, and there are moves that have an asterisk, and that means the babyface team with the skinny wrestler can't put that move on the bigger guy.
That's insane.
And then that will
I
result
was
in
not
the move
expect
getting
that from this game.
the move getting hit on the opposite.
That's a very interesting dynamic for from a game from 83 and 84. I have to imagine that most of these features are for the arcade system because I didn't notice any of this in the NES version.
Super simple.
Like,
now, do you want to get into the actual gameplay and the characters?
yeah, so like we said earlier, it's the Strong Bad versus the Ricky Fighters, and yeah, I mean the look of the characters is kind of reminiscent of two other people or four other people that you may know. I'm going that this is just me. I'm going with Demolition and the Steiners. That's what I got. I don't know how you felt about that.
A little bit, yeah. The same like hair flow that they had in every video game and every yeah.
Moveset not so much, but just like the way that the characters were built and like the little pixely sprites, that's what I thought of. At one point you said that your character looked like a cross between Smash and Vader.
It was Animal Invader.
Oh, Animal Invader, that's what you said.
Now, all the games for the different consoles kind of play a little differently. So we had the Ricky Fighters, which were the babyface teams, which were player one, versus Strong Bad, which is the heel team. So in the original game, which is the Japan release, the players control two identical wrestlers with black hair, orange trunks, and brown boots named Sonny and Terry. And in the US version, that was named Jocko and Spike. And the heel team were two masked wrestlers, aka the Mad Maulers in the US, not Strong Bad. And one of them was a skinny wrestler with an orange mask and boots and white trunks, and the other was a fat wrestler in a black mask with tights and white boots. That's the one we described as kind of Giant Machine-y, I think?
Yes.
So the player's team has to continually beat the heel team in order to win trophies and maintain gameplay, and after the 10th match, that's when you finally become the tag team world champions, and you must keep playing in order to maintain the titles.
Now, apparently, in the event of the heel team winning or tying a match, it's a game over, that's insane to think that you could be 15, 20 matches in and there's no like retry. You're done.
That's it. You're done. Who's going to sit there and play 15 matches of this?
I don't know. But listen, in 84, this is the pinnacle of wrestling games. You only got like two other options.
That's it. Now, here's something we didn't see, but we tried. In some situations where the player gets knocked out of the ring, which was pretty easy to do, a spectator, an odd man in a turban sporting a goatee, will come running out of the crowd, attack the player's wrestler with some hard blows to the head, then storm off. And it's believed to be the manager for the heel team.
The only experience we had outside the ring is I hit you with the ring bell.
That's it. And we couldn't get in the ring until you hit me with that.
Nope. I went down to go pick it up, and then we couldn't move until I hit you with it.
That's it. So we could have got counted out because we didn't know we had to hit each other with a ring bell.
That's insane. It was such a weird series of events because there are certain moves that almost instantaneously drop you out of the ring.
That's it. Drop kick right by the side of the ring, you're out.
All right, so what do you say we jump into this artwork right now, John?
All right, what do we got here?
All right, so this cover I mean,
We got two.
It
We
kinda
got the
falls in
arcade
line-
and we got the NES.
so the arcade is very basic. There's not a lot to it. The arcade is just red background, the logo, a couple screenshots of the game.
4 really bad cut-off screenshots.
Yeah, I mean this is pretty much just like a poster advertisement. It says Tag Team Wrestling. It says the main event, Tag Team Wrestling, available in dedicated FCB upright games.
Yep, and then we got the same logo on the NES one, but then there's some illustrations of some wrestlers that are very
Yeah.
odd looking, but okay, sure. Same. We got screenshots. We got a description on the back. The Data East logo, big arcade hit. Tag Team Wrestling. That's it. Very simple.
Yeah, not a lot to it.
But hey, like usual, we know it's a wrestling game. You know I like that. It says wrestling. It shows wrestlers. What more do you need?
So wait, hold on. There's some fast facts. You want to jump into some fast facts really quick?
Let's hit them with the fast facts.
In 1984, the arcade was ported to the Apple II, Commodore 64, and IBM PC in the United States by Quicksilver Software and published by Data East. US Gold released Quicksilver's port in Europe for the IBM PC in 1986 and the Commodore 64 in 1987.
The NES Famicom version of this game was created in 1986. It was released in October the same year, keeping the title Tag Team Wrestling.
And currently, if you wanted to buy Tag Team Wrestling on eBay, you can find it for as low as $3 or as high as $40.
Ooh. 40.
That's like an MIB with the manual and all that.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I don't know. This quarantine, it's got me a little tense, you know, a little sore,
A little on edge?
a little sore. You know, maybe it's time for some R&R. It's time for some ratings and reviews.
What's up, Game Marks Podcast? This is Danny Tancredi, and I'm here with my brother Johnny Tancredi, and together we are the Caught Looking Podcast. Each week we bring to you the latest news and reviews on all things baseball collectibles.
From baseball cards and memorabilia to bobbleheads and stadium giveaways, each episode will discuss the newest products to hit the shelves of your local card store and your favorite ballparks around the country.
Be sure to be following us on Instagram at the Caught Looking Podcast and on Twitter at CaughtLookingBB.
New episodes drop every Friday, so be sure to tune in wherever great podcasts, like this one, are available.
The Caught Looking Podcast. Don't get caught looking, start collecting.
All right. Not much going on here. Too early in life in the 80s to get some actual publications to rate this thing. If they are out there, we got to find them. But right now, the game FAQ user rating is a 2.22. I know you love that. Out of 5.
2.
HonestGamers.com are very honest with a 1.5 out of 5. Bleacher Report ranked this game 8 out of 10 in the top NES wrestling games, which is second from the bottom of the list. And GameSpot user rating is a 5.6 out of 10, which is probably the best one we've gotten here.
Would you like me to go through and read that list of the top pro wrestling games for the NES? Because I just pulled it up, and I'm very interested by this.
Yeah, go ahead, because I'm interested to see what Bleacher Report has to say, because they're always accurate.
Okay, so number 9, Tag Team Match Muscle, which is a part of the Muscle series.
Ooh.
Then number 8 is Tag Team Wrestling. Number 7 is WWF WrestleMania. Number 6 is WrestleMania Steel Cage Challenge. Number 5 is King of the Ring. Number 4 is WCW World Championship Wrestling. Number 3 is Number 3 is WWF WrestleMania Challenge. Number 2 is Pro Wrestling, and number 1, Tecmo World Wrestling.
Decent list, I guess, but I think I would swap 1 and 2.
Haven't played Tecmo, so can't say.
I think Pro Wrestling's top of the list, but anyway.
So we opted out of Clash at the Feast this week, mainly just because the gameplay is pretty basic. So we really wanted to find out what it was to try and get the title. So we opted out of doing it this week, but you know, as John likes to say, I'm really good at video games. So
Oh, yeah, okay.
We probably know what would have happened there.
Uh-huh.
Okay. John, do you happen to know what time it is?
2 p.m. on the dot.
All right. I think this is a really opportune time for us to say that it's time to rate the games.
The game!
All right, Johnny Clash, will you play it forever? Woo! Or future endeavor?
You're fired!
I think right from the menu screen, I said I hated this game, and then that carried on through the entire time. So a big straight up future endeavor.
You're fired!
Okay. All right. I mean, I said earlier that every game has something charming about it, and this is nostalgia 101. Like this, you feel a sense of nostalgia when playing this game, but that's about it. So I will also be future endeavoring this game.
You're fired!
Yep, that's it.
Yep.
Not the best game we've played. I mean, we've played worse. I won't say what.
That's true.
We played worse.
That's true.
But hey, now if you never heard of this game, like we didn't before this, now you do, and maybe you'll have a different opinion.
Do you want to let everybody know what we're playing next week on the pod?
Next week, we are playing Rumble Roses.
It's a very...
Let's see if we could keep it
There's
tame
only-
like Cutie Suzuki.
I was just going to say, there's only one game that comes to mind when I think of this game now. This is just a more intense, more realistic graphic version of Cutie Suzuki, and I am horrified. to play
I'm here
this
for
game.
it.
So, all right. Well, that's going to do it for us this week on the Game Marks podcast. Please check out our Pro Wrestling Tees store at prowrestlingtees.com/GameMarksPod. It is currently the best way besides listening to support the podcast. And be sure to follow us on all forms of social media at GameMarksPod. Leave us a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts and subscribe to this podcast wherever great podcasts can be found. Stay safe. Thanks for hanging out with us this week, guys. Say goodbye, Johnny.
Game over, Marks.
Bye.